Hey guys, Nolan and Jason here with Plumbing Webmasters.
Howdy.
So today's topic is plumber marketing during a bad recession. So we talk about stuff like this every once in a while, but sure does feel like 2023 could be bad.
Yeah, you've got conflicting reports, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what the bank say. I don't care what Wall Street says. I don't care what the Fed says. I don't care what politicians say. Every person knows what's going on when they're at street level.
Yeah.
And prices are up, and maybe work is a little harder to come by.
Right.
And all that. You know what's going on.
You know what's happening before they come out with the quarterly reports.
Yeah, but before they make it official.
And you know what's happening when you go to the grocery store and all that. And you see construction projects slowing down and all kinds of things, right?
Right.
And since we deal with contractors, we know that firsthand already.
Yeah, we've been seeing it for at least 3 months.
Your kid loves to eat organic blueberries by the case full, and they cost more, and you can sit in there and watch stuff go up. So it sure does feel like all the monetary policy, a lot of money printed, a lot of inflation as a result. Now increased interest rates supposed to slow down inflation, but it looks like it might be a bit of a rough landing, even though people are hoping that some of the smarter people out there are like that they're saying this could be rough, like 70s rough type stuff. So anyway, I'm not an economist, but it makes me think about it. And I have been alive and through multiple ones of these, so I thought
we're old enough to have seen the 70s,
SNL,
80s, and all of the recession.
Savings and loan. You might have remembered, you're 2 or 3 years older than me, so you might have remembered the energy crisis of the 70s. Do you remember that at all?
I was a kid, but yeah, I remember gas rationing.
You remember waiting in line?
The odd and even numbers on your license plate, and all that BS.
So I think about it too much. I do.
Yeah.
And Jason knows this about me. I'm not frugal on everything, but I'm frugal on certain things.
Right.
So the things that I tend to be, and for me, this will relate back to plumbers. We're going to relate it right back to a plumber. We're going to talk about expenses, overhead, where to spend money, what marketing's good and bad, and what you should and shouldn't spend there, even down to the quality of who's answering the phone and what type of internal structure you want to have.
Right.
Down to gratitude. One thing that's at least nice about all this, being an essential service provider, which we learned those words during COVID, is that you have a privileged place in society.
Right.
If you're a plumber. And because
most of our clients did not get shut down during COVID.
People need you, so gratitude's a nice thing, right?
Right.
Now, I will say, though, 2020 had an unusual thing that people really haven't paid proper respect to of construction and work on the house. So at 2020, people began to move. Prices went up quickly after money was doled out to try to save the economy from COVID. And then people stayed because it cost too much to move, and they added onto their homes, and a lot of plumbers got benefit from that. That's largely coming to a halt already. Yeah. So interest rates have done some of that. And the question is, what do you do during all this? So I'll share with some people things that I do. I always, what I call, stay in the weeds. I know that as I continue in business, because I want to work and live for a long time. I don't want to work myself to death, but I want to work until I die.
Until you're dead.
Yeah, I really do. Overall, it's a privilege to work, right? I feel like it's a privilege to work, and I feel like making money and staying involved will actually keep me alive longer. So my hope is actually to make money to stay alive longer and to stay alive longer because I have purpose. And so trying to work and stay and do this stuff, where does someone fit in? For me, I still sell. I still stay involved in the business. But when I take on tasks of the business, it lowers the overhead.
Yeah.
So that's a major thing. A lot of people, and this is insidious for people. They don't realize how fattened up the fattened calf is of their business.
Right.
They don't realize that they have 2 to 3 people answering the phone when they could answer it, or their spouse could answer it, or one person could do it. They don't realize that intermediate level of people that don't necessarily have skill sets and may or may not have as much concern about whether the business converts or makes money as the owner, how damaging it can be to the business.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, at very least, if someone has these sorts of people in the business because they think they're necessary, that they have some sort of procedural oversight, like Call Fire, Conversa, like they do phone call tracking.
And audit those calls.
And they audit the calls.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there and you're beginning to have lowered, and we're going to talk about how Martin can help with this, obviously, because we're a Martin company. Dumbest thing to do in the world is to cancel all the Martin.
And everybody thinks that it's the first thing they think of cutting off, and it's the last thing you should
crazy.
You should only cancel your marketing at the point where you're shutting down your business.
You're right.
It's literally like, okay, we're shutting down, and lay everybody off, close this down, do this. Okay, now shut off the marketing, now shut the business down.
Yeah, the marketing and then the power. Like the marketing's like, listen, this is not a self-serving thing. This is like, I'm a guy that turns 50 next month that started in home security, mowing lawns and painting curbs and doing stuff. And then a home security business. We sold tens of thousands of alarm systems because marketing.
Yeah.
Because of marketing. And I got into this because I'm from a family of small business people, entrepreneurs, and I got into this business because I learned how to market from a home security company, and I realized that if I didn't have marketing dialed in, I made no money.
Right.
And I went through recessions. We went through 08. We went through some serious stuff. But so if we have an 08 or something like that again type thing happen in a different way, and you're not lean, you could have a problem.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So intermediate layers of people that are unnecessary, it might be something that you look at. Now, if you have those people in your business and you need some of them, you'd better be listening every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because we tell them the story about the phone. We used to listen to
Yeah,
somebody's
we
call.
used to. We used to have a group of our clients paid us on a pay-per-lead basis, and we tracked and recorded every phone call that came in through their website and Google Business Profile, and we would listen to those calls, determine which ones were leads. So every lead was verified, and we had a client that he called complaining that he wasn't getting anything.
It was water heater leads, by the way.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Yeah.
And he was a plumber, and he was a little upset because he was getting charged for leads, but he wasn't. Yeah, or
clicks. Like,
was it clicks? No, he was on PPL.
Was he? So we don't do this anymore because,
that's what I was saying.
Because people paid way too much money.
Yeah.
So a lead would come in, and this person would answer the phone with complete disregard. Just
disregard.
disdain.
And basically, what happened when we kind of went in and audited what was going on, we listened to these calls, and it was a customer requesting service, ergo a lead.
Right.
And then the person who was answering this guy's office phone was saying, "Oh, he's not here. You'll have to call back."
The person who handles that isn't here. Try back later.
Yeah, and these are the most lucrative leads a plumber gets, pretty much.
Right.
Except maybe a whole house repipe, and a water heater replacement is easier than a whole house.
It was a great leads being squandered, and it was so easy.
And it was like dozens of them.
Back when we used to do this, though, and this is one of the reasons plumbers need to do this. That wasn't the only. That was the one we remember.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that were answering the phone horribly.
Yeah.
Horribly. So if leads become scarce, watch that one. It's more important than you think. And if there's anybody hanging around that doesn't do multiple things or that's not doing enough,
because I mean,
keep an eye on it.
someone's water heater just burst open and is flooding their garage or their house if the water heater's inside.
She wouldn't even ask her that far, as I recall.
Well, the point I'm making is if the person they talk to on the phone says, "Oh, you'll have to call back," what they do is they go to the next one in Google search and call that one. They're not going to wait.
It was the tone of this person.
Yeah,
and
that too.
Yeah, I would have never. No one would have ever called them back for anything.
Yeah, and we ended up like calling the guy like, "You may have a problem," and we sent him a couple of recordings, and he was like,
So so that one thing could kill a business.
Yeah.
Just that one thing. Okay, so overhead, however you decide to do overhead past some of these things, whether you have trucks on the road or some not, or whatever's going on, do take a look at overhead, but marketing's not one of those things. I will talk about the marketing for a second. So we're a marketing company, and this seems self-serving, but it is because we're so in tune with.
It is, but not intentionally.
It's not. It's like the most simple thought process that you don't cancel. When marketing's gone, the show's over. And if you don't attempt to send out digital signaling to Google, your lead stopping is like the worst thing that can happen. So if there's a bad recession, you're not going to do as much business. But if you don't market well during that time, you can go out of business.
Yeah.
You know?
And what we do is some of the lowest cost, most efficient, best return marketing that you can do.
It is. And I think that I honestly believe that if somebody's already marketing and they have now, let's talk about the types of marketing, but the organic optimization with the website and showing up on the big show for unpaid clicks,
right?
The organic stuff, that's the one you keep doing.
Right.
Will paid ads go down because people aren't using them? I don't know. But even if they did go down a little bit, the conversion might be lower during a bad economy.
Well, I mean, Google is going to spend that budget. It is written, just so if you guys don't know, you can set a Google Ads campaign. You can say these keywords, strict match, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But it's written into the agreement that they don't have to abide by that, essentially. If you've said, this is my budget every day, they are free to expand the range until they spend your budget. And they will.
So if it was, if it was Christmas Day or something, I mean, there are certain days that are like worse for paying for a click. You're not going to get the conversion. Yeah. So the budget's going to get spent, like Jason said, no matter what. And then you're not going to get as much conversion. If the market is really bad, that the economy is really bad, some of these marketing techniques might not be as good as they used to be because the conversion is going to be lower.
Right.
The lead sources might shop you too hard. So this is a really good time to say, I'm going to work on my digital brand through Google with Plumbing Webmasters to participate in the big show.
Right.
To get the best leads and the most of them I can. Someone could theoretically sail through a recession who had the ability to show up on the big show on Google, non-paid clicks, mapping, reputation reviews, and other keywords if they were shooting up in that at the time that the economy was going down.
Yeah.
So someone could actually have a better time of it. It could happen. I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've done it
or at least not, and at the very least you could get through it without a radical reduction in your business.
You could. Yeah, a lot of times the plumber they have 8 trucks on the road, they shelve 4 of them,
Yeah.
Four, they park 4, got 4 out, or whatever ends up happening. End up being able to get more plumbers. They've had a hard time getting workers, so the workers will become plentiful, but jobs will become scarce. That's why the workers become plentiful. So, if you don't know what the big show is, we have one called Plumber Marketing the Big Show. That's Google. That's when you show up organically. It's the best lead. It's the cheapest lead. It's the digital signaling of your brand, or what people refer to as search engine optimization, and Google liking to show you on mapping, reputation reviews, and keywords.
Right.
That you don't pay to show up for.
Yeah.
Where, by the way, 70% of people click to go look. So if you can show up on the big show, it's great. You might want to review some of your paid items. You do not cancel all your marketing unless you want to go out of business. If you want to go out of business, cancel your marketing. If you stop the horse from running around the track and it doesn't get any more digital signaling, that's bad. That's negative.
I've literally had clients in the last few months that had like a rough summer or whatever. Some areas of the country were already feeling it.
Right.
And they've said, well, I've got to cut costs and cut off my marketing. And I've just said like flatly, oh, are you shutting the business down?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no.
It's
I'm like, well, no, you are.
Yeah. It's a good white glove slap in the face moment.
I mean, I wasn't trying to be mean.
It's a tough love.
It was very much, that is what you're doing, even if you don't mean to.
Right.
It's like, I know what we're charging you, and there has got to be somewhere else you can trim that much off that will not destroy you.
Did anyone heed your warnings?
One did.
Yeah, when people get
Still
these
with us.
harebrained ideas like I'm going to cancel my marketing to save money, I don't even know. It's like I'm going to save biological function by not drinking water or breathing air. It's a primary.
Yeah.
There's no option. You can't not market. You can not market, run around.
It's like saying I'm going to save money by setting my checks on fire.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the worst thing somebody could do. We tend to market more every time I'm concerned about anything.
Yeah. If there's any reduction, we're like, fire up this, run some ads if we weren't before.
Nolan Walker here for Data Pins. You may not know, but I own a software company, and we have a proprietary software called Data Pins, DATAPINS. You can search it at datapins.com. This is not white labeled. I actually own this piece of software, and I made it for you. It was made for contractors. You can actually take pictures of jobs, up to 6, make a caption about the material, the brand, the situation, the repairs, and post that back to your individual pages on your website, just like that. It's super simple. Anyone could use it. It also texts and emails your clients direct links to your reviews, so it helps reputation and reviews, which helps conversion and map placement. The geo coordinate gets grabbed by Data Pins, and Google can tell where you are. So instead of them just seeing reviews, they see all jobs or even estimates that you do. This vastly outperforms just getting reviews. Helps the map show up, helps organic keywords, and remember those captions that you're putting in there help expand the keywords per page, and it's great regular content. I love it. We made it just for you. It is organic optimization on steroids for both your website, your rankings, and the map placement. Check out Data Pins. I think you'll be happy you did. Yeah, since we do marketing for a living and for decades, literally marketing, if we're slow, what do?
Yeah,
we market.
We look at what we're doing, we're seeing,
and we market.
Okay, we're already good on organic. How can we expand? What can we do?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if there's nothing to do in this business, we're a marketing company.
Yeah,
we
have all this expertise. We may as well be using it.
We're cutting a video. We're podcasting. We're organically optimizing. We're turning over this stone and looking at that. We're auditing our own stuff. We're doing it. I mean, every single time, without fail. Is all I do. So everybody else runs, sky's falling, starts dumping everything overboard.
Yeah.
Doesn't consider what's being dumped overboard. Baby out with the bathwater type thing. Just starts lobbing stuff off.
Yeah.
And has no logical consideration about the ramifications of what it's going to do to the business. And I will tell you that I think that organic, if during a tough economic time, there are enough people that make these dumb moves that you will actually go up in ranking better. You will have an easier fight.
As odd as it sounds, this is an opportunity because there are a ton of people who will not heed this, even if they see it, and will say, "Well, I gotta cut costs." We hear that, and it's like, you really can't cut this cost.
There's also a group of people every time there's been a recession, just since we've been in this business, that actually do call up and say, I need to market.
Yeah.
I know.
What else can we do?
What can I do? So I'll actually get calls.
I had that call from a guy last week.
Did you?
Yeah. It was literally, what else can we do? And we went over options.
I got 4 new clients signed up this week, right? We got 4 new clients. And
we are actually starting to see right now, we're starting to see people go, I need to get serious.
Yeah.
And we're getting more calls.
Absolutely. 2 of those people were clearly because of economics situation coming.
Yeah.
Slowdown experienced mid 2021, and then concern over spring and coming year.
Yeah.
And went ahead and fired up and called us up, and starting in on the marketing. I mean, that's what should be done. That's textbook perfect. Some of these people were mentored to do this through like a mastermind group, some of them just innately knew, but not just this week, but in the last few weeks, several of people have doing this to anticipate marketing. So you don't know what happens to any business, ours or other people, during economic changes, but it'll get better. But this is where marketing pays off, and people that weather the storm come out on top, do better during the recession, have more money to invest or to spend, and then when they come out of it, they're a stronger company.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies are built during economic downturns.
Well, I mean, you have a downturn that lasts 2 years, and then if you have someone who took the right steps and survived it or even thrived through it, They come out the end of it knowing how to be more efficient because they were forced to, and then hopefully they never fall into a bad pattern again.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it makes crazy people like me who I don't go out of business. I never have. I never haven't not paid anybody. I've never bankrupted. But I see
Never miss payroll.
never miss payroll.
I can attest.
So when you see stuff as a kid and you're in a family business that's entrepreneurs and you see the fear ripple through when there's economic downturn, it scarred me as a child.
Yeah.
Going through the I guess the 70s a little bit, barely. I don't remember that one, but I definitely remember 1987.
I remember in the 70s my
87
parents
was
sitting
rough.
at the dinner table, like
Yeah.
balancing the checkbook, and like both of them. I mean, I was a little kid, but me and my brother and sister could all tell they were scared, and we were scared too.
Yeah. I remember being in a house, my mother and stepfather was in flooring business, and I remember back then the water department would come out. Nowadays they stuck us all as bullshit that we went on these smart meters. I got the old analog. I told you that on
Yeah,
my,
you got that
on my
analog,
on my electric. They're not doing that crap in my electric, but the water one, Public Utility Commission didn't write that into law for us, so everybody has to have the smart meter. But back in the day, they come crank it with a wrench, turn your water off, and you'd hear a truck. People listen for the truck to come up. They're
Yeah.
cutting off my power. You'd hear it come up, and power.
Yeah, they used to have to come to your house for anybody younger watching.
Yeah.
they couldn't do it remotely once upon a time.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit of a repo type thing happening. So they come up and you get up and try to go take a shower. Your water's off. I remember my stepdad in a 3-story home over close to City View in Montdale, over by the Costco over there in Bryan Irving, just down the road. And he had the big old home, overextended all the time in the flooring business with big money in, big money out. I think flooring's like the 4th largest purchase that anyone ever makes or something.
Yeah.
It's in the top 5.
Yeah.
So when there's a recession at all, nobody buys carpet or hardwood, right?
Yeah. Unless there's a flood and their floor is destroyed
Right.
and they have to.
Insurance
Nobody
paid.
upgrades their floor during
So
recession.
he's out there every morning, like turning the water on this big old home, this 5,000 square foot home, turning the water
I
on.
knew a guy in
Yeah.
an apartment I lived in once. Back in the day, before they could shut this stuff off remotely, the meters at apartments, you had the box, and the actual meter was basically the glass dome, and it plugged into the box.
I think I've seen that
You know,
before, yeah.
And what they would do is when
I
they
think
were
I have
cutting,
that now.
when they were cutting you off, they'd come and pull it
Right.
and then leave.
Right.
So this guy figured out that he pulled it
He shorted.
himself
Yeah.
and hid it in his apartment and then reported it stolen.
Awesome.
They came out and gave him a new one. He stopped paying. They pulled it, and he put the old one back and turned it back on.
Wow.
And he would do that when he was home, and then he would pull it back out when he left. So if someone came and looked at it, there wouldn't be one.
That's got to be
He did
against.
this for 2 years.
Did they go to jail for that, or
No, they never caught him. Unless it was after I moved somewhere else.
Well, I remember.
Don't do this at home.
I
kids.
remember 1987 in a high ticket item. That by the way, that recession felt like it lasted till 1994 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
It was long and
Especially
nasty.
here in Texas because of the savings and loan.
The savings and loan was rough, and it recovers, but it doesn't feel right. You
Yeah.
know, and that's where a plumber ought to be grateful. There's so many things you could be doing. We were in digital marketing for contractors. I told you I talked to a guy who owned a digital marketing company, and I forgot why he called me, but he was probably trying to figure out how to work for contractors, a digital marketing agency. His 2 categories were restaurants and workout gyms.
Oh my God, the 2 most destroyed
Gyms and restaurants. He was
industries in COVID.
Yeah, he was destroyed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember many days. So I'm so thankful that I get to work with plumbers and HVAC, and I just
Well,
great.
if you remember when I first went to work for you, I was always trying to convince you to expand beyond contractors.
I love contractors.
And then when COVID hit, I always eat crow if it's appropriate, and I say, I'm so glad you didn't listen to me.
Well, there's just, I don't like the corporate mumbo jumbo BS. And
Yeah.
a contractor, they don't screw around. You know, I'm pretty country, Texas, straightforward, and I don't like all the corporate fluff. To me, contractors, plumbers, HVAC, roofers, they are some of the last like small business, like salt of the earth,
Yeah.
hardcore Americana like small business. And there's other stuff you can do, but home service contractors, that's one of the last things left.
Yeah, it's
And-
fully local.
Yeah.
Nobody's been able to take it national. I mean, there's like plumbing franchises, but they're not.
It's an
what most people
interesting
use.
point. So because of that, it's localized. People can't take it national or big very easily unless it's franchised. There's got to be a local guy running the show.
Right.
And the reason is because you're dealing with salespeople, maybe, but the technician, the plumber, they're hard to manage on a wide scale. Any hard labor is.
Right.
And when the local person figures that out and combines it with marketing, which is so stinking rare,
Yeah.
then that guy can dominate his service category. And if he can figure out the expense structure and then run service people and brand and market, that plumber dominates the market and makes a ton of money.
Absolutely.
So
He gets up to that magic 50 truck number.
yeah, I don't know what the magic number is. The magic number is wherever the guy's expenses are low and he makes a crap ton of profit.
But you know what I mean? That's like whenever we hear a guy talking about how great he's doing, it's always 50 trucks. I've heard people say I got 20 trucks and they're happy, but I've never heard anybody tell me they got 100 trucks.
There's
I
a
mean,
few. Well, there's-
I've never had a guy.
we
tell
had
me
we had a guy in the office one time that was doing that, but
Really?
it was yeah we did. I mean, we had tons of them around. I don't want
Okay.
to say who it is.
I don't remember.
He was developing like a thermostat, like a,
I don't remember who you're talking
okay,
about.
yeah. The guy was high end, high
Yeah.
up. He had a lot. There's hundreds of trucks on the road for that guy. But anyway, but he's not really local at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And DFW is like a regional market. You know, it's like you can't just do one thing. Nolan Walker here with Plumbing Webmasters. I'd like for you to consider becoming a client. You know, we have a lot of great people that work here at the company. We help hundreds of clients. We've done this for 12 years now. We help clients dominate online. We're a digital marketing agency. I honestly don't think there's anyone better than us at this point in time. We'll help you with your design, your code, your content. We'll help you rank on Google Maps. We'll help you reputation reviews organically. We even have proprietary software that I own in a different company called DataPens, DATAPINS. DataPens allows you to post pictures of jobs with captions and geo coordinates right onto the website. It'll take 90 seconds. A 12-year-old could use it, but you'll be able to post daily and get daily activity, great content. It even posts it back to your Google account. It even texts and emails the client. So one simple thing where you pick a couple of photos you took, wrote a caption, put in the client's cell phone number and hit pen, and boom. And then that is in addition to all the other things that we do for you for SEO. We can also help with paid ads and other things too. But man, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. You can check us out at plumbingwebmasters.com. Anyway, guys, I'll wrap up not too fast. And remember to like and subscribe, please. I want to say a couple things. First, we'd love to help you. We're here to help you. You call us, answer any questions about what we do for people. There's other episodes about what we do, but we love helping with the organic optimization, meaning non-paid stuff on Google, because it's where almost all the leads come from.
Yep.
And that's where the return on investment is going to
The
occur.
most leads and the best leads and the cheapest leads.
And a plumber that figures stuff out is maybe my favorite category of contractors that we work with, because the ability for them to make money continuously.
Yeah.
HVAC goes up and down. They eat beans during spring and fall. And the other stuff is storm.
In some parts of the country,
Storm
roofers are waiting on storms.
They're waiting on storms.
Or they're shut down because of winter weather,
Correct.
or whatever it is.
I mean, winter rolls around, plumber's busy season on
Yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
So people, all the families in there, they're clogging stuff up and messing things up. But I love a plumbing business because of their ability to earn money. And if you figure out the marketing side of it, you can boom. I was talking to someone just before I got here, and we were talking about it, And I'll tell this story because it's interesting, but we ended up having a good conversation. But he said, well, Nolan, why do I need you after you build the website and do everything? I said, well, I first off hope to find somebody whose acumen is strong enough in the realm of marketing that we can have a good business relationship. I don't want to deal with somebody that's attempting to get around things and see how Nolan can make no money whatsoever. Because he said, well, that's fair. I said, it is fair.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't just one-off make websites because we're highly skilled people that want to get you up in Google organic ranking, but we have to build a website. But you don't take your Ford to the Ferrari dealership to have it worked on. We make the best of the best. And I said, we want people as a client that understands marketing enough and respects that process. And if you'll do that and understand your brand as a digital signal, you will eventually be one of the top in your market. There's no other way around it from an organic optimization standpoint of digital signaling, that if you do things properly, eventually you will get repaid. You will be the logical choice, one of them.
Yeah.
So depending on the market, you can be one of the top 5 plumbers and you're going to boom, and it's daily phone call volume and growing trucks on the road. But you do need somebody, like we need a client like that. And when I was younger, I was worried about saying that stuff. There's no shame at all. And I was like, well, what do you pay now? He said, well, more than you're asking. I said, well, why don't you inherently have respect for what we're offering? I said, just talking to me and seeing what we do, you know it's better than what you have. He said,
or you
well,
wouldn't be making the call.
he said, yeah. He said, well, it was just a question, Nolan. I said, hey, you know what?
But it was a question with an agenda behind it.
Right. I said, it's a fair enough question, but when you ask the owner of a company, how can I beat you out of making a profit? And I said, you won't win. It's just that I don't want you hurting me and you.
Right.
So if you come and put up a website and stop marketing it, you're going to get a better website.
The existence of a website in and of itself is not marketing.
Right.
The website is a platform upon which you do marketing.
And it needs to have regular signaling. And
Yeah,
I explained some of this to him.
Yeah, that's
I was
what
like,
was
it
saying.
doesn't, you won't win by, if you find some way around the cheapest measure of doing business with us, it's not like you win and get one over on me. You just screwed up yourself and me.
Yeah.
He said, I understand that, it makes sense. And I said, look, it's okay that you're new at your understanding, and it sounds like you're close to arriving at a reasonable page where you can be a successful business owner and have a successful company and market successfully. But you have to understand a little bit about it, in order to move forward. So we don't want to work with somebody that can't stay on as a client, because we are, basically zeroed down in month to month. And so if somebody starts up and we expend a lot of money and then they leave, we make no money,
It's like it was several months ago, maybe almost a year actually, that we had a new client sign on. You had talked to them, everything had seemed fine, and then I did a welcome call and got some information from them. And they said, so I'm going out of the country in 3 months for half a year, and I want to pay for this for 3 months and then pause it. And it was just like, what?
Yeah.
And I call you and tell you this, and you're just like, call him and tell him, cut him loose diplomatically. And it was like,
I love it.
We never make any money.
Yeah, I love it when people listen to the podcast, though, because if they listen to like 5 or 6 podcasts, they know what we do, and it makes sense. If someone isn't on page for helping us help them.
Help us, help you.
Yeah, what was that from?
I don't know.
What was that from?
It popped into my
Help
head, but I
me,
don't remember.
help you. Was that Jerry Maguire?
Might have been.
Yeah, all right.
It might have been.
Help me, help you. Yeah, he was exasperated because the baller he was representing was like incorrigible.
Yeah.
He's like,
Mr. Show Me the
I think
Money
that was right
was-
before the "Show Me the Money" line.
Okay.
Help me, help you.
Yeah.
Let me help you. And then finally, he was like trying so hard because it was his only client.
Yeah. It was like his last chance.
Yeah, but I it was Cuba
Gooding Jr.
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. Anyway, we want somebody we can work with, and we're not expensive either. I said, see, we're a good deal. And he's like, yeah, you're a good deal. I said, you want to have us as a partner. You want to have us as somebody that works with you. And I used my tax example, my dad being a CPA. I said, there was literally a year when I sold like 3,000 alarm contracts for millions to a company a long time ago. This was like 2003, I think, or 4. And a major company that got bought out eventually by a bigger company bought thousands of alarm contracts. The CPA that I had at the time wanted me to pay $350,000 or $400,000 in taxes. And it was a weird deal but it was worse than that because I never really fully explained it. Like, because of the way the money was hitting, because I would have to take loans and acquire accounts and then sell bulk.
Yeah.
We didn't have money that year. So it was like starting and stopping and starting, and when the money, and so we had money, but I didn't make money that year.
Right.
I would have had to literally pull it out of my pocket from the stuff I'd done before to pay the taxes that year.
And maybe get paid back the next year if you were lucky. Yeah.
No, the money was gone on that. And so I took the taxes from this other tax planner. This was a CPA, a certified public accountant. I'm going to make a very good analogy on this. Back to somebody's expertise and who you choose to work with as your marketing company, which is so vital to your business. I took it to my dad because I didn't have it with my dad because he procrastinated shit so bad it infuriated me, so I paid someone else. I said, Dad, screw this. And my dad's brilliant, though.
Yeah.
And he cares about me.
But he does procrastinate.
And he's horrible procrastinator. He cares about me. He's brilliant. Anyway, I took it to him and he said, are these subscription-based services? I said, well, yeah, they sign term agreements. He said, the average one lasts over 12 months. He said, yeah. This is clearly
there were 3-year terms.
Yeah, well, in some cases, but they are all over 12 months. He said, this is clearly a subscription-based service being sold. I said, so? He's like, well, it's capital gains. I said, so? And he's like, well, that's at this interest rate. I'm like, so? He's like, you get an $80,000 loss carry forward. And I'm like, what?
What does that mean?
You're going to pay 0 taxes this year, and you're going to get to carry forward $80,000 towards your net profits next year. You pay nothing. You're welcome. And I'm like, oh my God. So, and when I would go to these places, I find this interesting. I'll throw this in here. It's off, but it's not. My whole life I've used accountants and I've judged them hardly because my dad's a CPA. And when you go use marketing companies, like, all of these stinking people suck so stinking bad. I had somebody ask me, like, I'm getting old, I guess. They said, Nolan, how long are you going to do this for? I said, you got to be grateful any day above ground that I'm working for you, man, because we are the best of the best. And we actually care and put in expertise and service to your account. And you have no idea what that means from a digital marketing standpoint when Google judges and verifies your account to get the brand signaling to show up in ranking.
Right.
So there is no one better than us at this point in time. We have software, we have all kinds of stuff. And when you have tax strategy that is legal, that is put in there for someone to use, and the accountant or CPA doesn't understand it, they look at you like
or just doesn't care.
Well, they're just ignorant without skill sets about it, but they're still a CPA, they're still an accountant. They just don't deal with that stuff.
Right.
They don't know it. And then when they look at it and you get the tax benefit, which is legal as the day is long, they look at you like you did something wrong because they didn't understand their own job.
Right.
It's ludicrous. I will lash a CPA nowadays mercifully about these topics when somebody doesn't understand what they're talking about, because I had to go learn all of it painstakingly over decades. When somebody gets their digital marketing done by someone, and there's an army of morons doing stuff. We had a plumber sign up yesterday, has over 1,000-page website.
3,000.
I'm sorry, 3,000.
It's 3,000 pages of spam.
Of spammy trash.
Our specialist has gone through it, and he found 40 useful pages out of 3,000.
He told me 38.
30. Well, I was rounding
36,
up. Yeah,
yeah.
he said like 37, 38. In other words, very, very small fraction.
This guy paid the same as we charge to some these idiots. these idiots with this fancy name that sounds like they're just working for plumbers, you know?
Yeah.
That's all we do. Well, so what? You're morons. And you're shysters and charlatans and cheats, and they're charging him for his paid ads. They charging him for his... They signed him up with Yelp, this company. He doesn't pay Yelp directly. He pays these guys.
Oh, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's mind-boggling. I'm like, and I with this guy, I was able to go through and show him how this is how you're getting screwed, and it's like really obvious. And lucky for you,
they did a bunch of spammy stuff that 10 years ago, 12 years ago, would have probably worked.
Right.
But it's death now.
It killed it. The Google Good Content Update probably hurt him. He hardly ever gets a call at all. It probably even stops his map from showing up.
Yeah. Well, our specialist said that of the 3,000 some odd pages, only 40 were useful. Only 800 were even indexed.
Right.
So Google had off the top eliminated over 2,000 of those pages and was ignoring their existence.
Which you could guarantee there's an algorithmic penalty on the rest
of
the
stuff.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, because they're looking at that saying, there's so much garbage here, we do not want to do the work of sifting for the nuggets.
Yeah. So, I mean, the point of... We're going to do a podcast about that, which... who you're speaking about, specialist, suggested, which will be a great podcast, over optimization and under optimization.
Right.
But we do great work for people.
We do.
We're fantastic at it. I'd love to be able to help anybody who wants to call us, and there's not a better time right now, in my opinion. It's always the best time to go forward. But
if you're not already doing it, now's the time to get in it
before
things drop off.
It's the perfect time. Because the guy that was getting spammed, by the way, had 8 trucks and had already parked 3. And it was because he paid good money to somebody who claimed to do stuff, just like the CPAs claim to do stuff. And they don't do what they're paid for. And he was paying good money to have it done.
Yeah.
And then he's having to park 3 trucks and pay for leads and send money off to Yelp and stuff. And he was sitting there dying, giving money to somebody. But yeah, anyway... Love working for people, love doing it. I told a guy the other day, and I was like, we're straightforward. I always say, Texas straightforward, Texas respectful. I know where my money comes from, and I appreciate it. And we always work hard for the client. And I'm grateful to be doing this. I think there's a chance that during the recession that we'll do better.
Yeah.
That's my plan. And that ought to be anybody else's plan, too. The plumber could do better during the recession if they handle their organic
because a lot of your competition is going to screw it up. A lot of them.
Shit, they screwed up anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to screw it up worse.
Yeah, they're going to get worse.
They're going to take the money that they're throwing at marketing, if they're throwing any, they're probably doing it badly. Right. And they're going to do less than that.
Right.
And it's an opportunity.
It is an opportunity. It's always an opportunity, but this would be like the perfect time to go pop that, and then just set up the perfect marketing and go sail past the recession. Anyway, good stuff, guys. Give us a call. We'll see you.